So, Ayo, tell us who was the person you met that you were excited?
Oh, I met Shodi, one of the best hype
Shout out
men.
to Shodi.
Yeah, shout out to Shodi. I met your guy, Osage's guy,
Only
your Benin
truth.
guy, DJ Neptune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out,
Early truth.
shout out
Yeah.
to DJ Neptune.
I also met OJ. I don't even know OJ from
Oh, is that with
He's
TVC?
now with TVC.
OJ.
Yeah.
OJ.
OJ,
Shout out
yeah.
to who?
Since when, bro? Since
Been with TVC
never
for
knew.
years, bro.
for years now.
In fact,
That
it is very
NTV.
possible that he has been longer at TVC
Hip
than he
TV,
was
sorry.
at Hip TV.
Yeah, no, it's even more possible. It's more possible then. Yeah, more possible. I met a couple of people that I don't know, but somehow they know me and they think we've met before, so I don't know how that is
You're a
possible.
celebrity
But
now.
I just said
So you
hi,
should be
hello.
used to people
How
knowing
you
you and
doing?
you not
Just
knowing
kept it
them.
moving.
Come on now.
I'm not. I'm a civil. See, bro. I'm an intern. I'm an intern. Please, I don't know all about that.
Oh, okay. You just had people running up to you and saying hi.
Yeah, like it's a long time. Remember that time? Where I'm like, I just been nodding my head. Yeah, that's true. And I don't know where I met these people from.
No, that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
Shout out to you. That's dope. You know, and stay safe. How many of
Yeah.
them were women?
It's only men. Thank you very much. Only men. Masculine brotherhood.
Only truth.
Yeah,
Only
because that place where
men.
they do that event, if you see the kind consignment where boys they pull in, I said no, this will be bad for my bank balance. Let me just leave this place in peace. Thank you very much.
Well, you still had one or two, women reach out to you now. Don't do that now.
Which will no, I'm focused on the job. I'm 100% professional. We don't mix business with pleasure in Afrobeat. Unlike
No,
some.
I'm not saying that was what. I'm not saying that's what went down. I'm just saying, you had other than men, you had other maybe women, ladies who came and stepped up and said hi too now.
Not
So
at
what
this
was
event,
so
but it
why
happens
this
at other
event? What
events,
was
but
like
not at this
missing from
event.
this event that they didn't come to say hi?
Okay. Are you in a relationship, right?
You have to
I
know.
I don't know, bro. Maybe it was the venue, but I don't know. I just did my thing. Or maybe it's the location I was in. It wasn't like
Okay.
main center. So I don't know. Yeah. Also, there was an after party, so I guess most of them kept doing the after party, which I left. I just did like 10 or 15. I did like 30 minutes in the
Okay.
after party, then I bounced.
This
Are you in a relationship right now?
Not that I'm aware of.
What does that mean?
Some people might say, but me, I don't know. I'm not aware that I'm in a relationship.
So you're single right now. That's what you're saying.
Single as a Pringle, yes, sir.
When did you become single? When did your last relationship end?
Osage, all
That's
these
what I'm
questions
saying.
you're
We're
asking is
checking.
getting
Want to
it's
check
getting
something. There's a reason why we're
too
asking.
invasive, sir.
There's
Let's
a reason why
just.
we're asking. Just answer. Let's answer again first. We'll tell you.
Why do you
I'm
want to check?
saying we'll tell you. You just answer. We'll tell you the reason.
Wow. So you're in a relationship
Okay,
this year?
early in the year.
Wow.
What happened?
Steve, do you take me as a monk or something? I don't understand. Okay.
What happened?
Jackpot things. So, and I don't do long distance. So, everybody go be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ah, well, you don't do long distance because of the distance or the
It's the
time.
distance. It's the distance. I can't function with the distance.
Well,
What was your question, please?
No, I'm now worried that for someone like you with a complex mind,
My mind no complex for that one. No. My mind is very simple. as I see you, please. Seeing is believing. I beg you, know of God.
So
I know the stories that touch. I beg you.
What is the main problem with the time with the distance relationship? What's the main issue?
But I'm not.
Is it
Okay,
trust?
I'm
Is
not.
it,
Love language,
Once
physical intimacy.
Once you hear physical
That's a big
intimacy,
deal.
no worry.
Physical
Osags and
intimacy.
knacks.
Physical intimacy.
Osags and knacks.
Physical intimacy. I am repeating. Don't let Steve steal my words. Physical intimacy. Thank you.
I understand you. I get it. No problem.
Okay. I get it now. Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
So can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
What then happens when you you get married. If you,
Yeah.
I'm not saying if you, I'm not, there's no pressure, right?
Yeah, I
But
know.
like if you were to get married to somebody and then the person had to probably go do their BSc or MBA and they had to be out of the country for a period of time,
Yeah.
what would then happen?
I can take that one because, obviously, since I already made the decision to marry you and, take an oath, that is a cross I'm willing to carry. That one is definite. But nobody say we never marry and I will not be carry. You now put another luggage on me. No, no, no. It's not done like that. But with marriage, obviously, yes, you have to know how to make that sacrifice. You know.
Sorry for the laughs.
Okay, understood. So you're
Thank
saying
you.
this person is in this person's travel wasn't for
No, no, no. It's it was Buharinomics that I guess Buharinomics that yes that led
okay,
to
so
that.
permanent relocation.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, and so this also means that you probably didn't love this person enough to still be in this relationship, right?
I don't think we crossed that benchmark or Rubicon. So I just decided let's not deceive ourselves. At the end of the day,
Okay. What if this person wants to, for some reason, like come back to into the country and say they are not relocating anymore?
who does?
Maybe
I was like, how many people
Tinubu,
do you know that come back and say they're not
maybe
relocating
see
anymore?
now. See, I believe in miracles. What if
Okay,
Tinubu repaired the
then it,
economy
it
and
is what it
like
is. If you can continue from there, then it's fine. If you can't, then it's all good.
okay, okay. Just wanted to check in.
Thank you very
Just wanted.
much.
All right,
Not
Steve. How
as
was your
interesting
week?
as Zion's week now. It's just boring. I just the house, my brother. Just the house. See the happen. I just the house.
Just
My
the
week was
fight
boring,
for
please.
capitalism. They go.
Just the house. It wasn't an Afrobeat week. Hmm?
Just the, you didn't go to
Did
Obi's
I go to?
house.
No, no, I didn't. I didn't.
You didn't go to Obi's house this week.
I didn't go. Afrobeat is
Obi's
back,
house.
Abby.
And Obi's back. Oh,
That
Obi's
means
back now. Oh.
we are in
Please, Obi's
we're in
house
Yeah,
is
he's back.
back
September now.
every Monday
Before
or
October,
one
I would
Monday
do
of
that.
the
I
month.
would do Obi's house
No, every Monday.
one night again. Okay, let's go now. Let's go
Please, when
now.
you are going, let me know. Thank you.
We can go now. But let's go and hang out one of these Mondays. Yeah, it's always fun. Oh.
Yeah,
A
no,
lot of
no
people
problem.
always
I did.
come and talk to me about Lustock.
Yeah,
House
I
of
heard.
Osagie, House of Ayo, some House of Tolani, all these Afrobeat people. I know now me, I was never in this industry. Now I just they drag my leg come out outside. So I don't know why they think I was in the industry.
No verse. No
So they
verse.
only just come and just form gist and conversation. And me, I'm not interested in. I'm not an industry guy now. Now. Yeah, I don't know why they don't know the difference between I and you guys. So that's the only frustrating part about going out in Lagos. Seeing music industry people and them acting as if I'm one of them. So yeah, understand. It's not like it's not the
You two
fun
go
part.
to
Like
not
I
get
don't
to
like
them
it.
now. Yeah, yeah.
I still have to like talk to people and just be relatable. But Afrobeats people the time. And they always deal with baddies. Those Afrobeats guys, they always deal with
Mm.
baddies. So they just they talk.
That is why I like Afrobeats. I love Afrobeats events. The baddies are
Ah,
always represented.
yeah.
Pasta eating baddies are always in the house.
I it gives a certain kind of what do you call it? A certain kind of. I met ice creams
Okay.
there once, and yeah. So we were just passing by, just pushed
No,
my
for
head
real?
a little bit. I was like, how far now? So just done. I just waved at him. That kind of attention. The bodies will come to look you like say you be one kind guy. They come the all those bodies, they come to sit down, they come to come near you as if I was just a laugh. Say this one, you never see the happen.
Might I give you this, Steve. Might I give you one
That
gist,
experience was
Steve.
really funny because immediately ice cream greeted me. I just saw
Um,
some of them just coming
I
to
think
phone
it was.
conversation. On my mind,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, we'll stay there first. Go on, could we just go and look for another person so that your night will not waste. You don't understand.
Only now fintech carry me come here.
Now
Now only
fintech,
Uh,
I will go. Well, See, what you just said now has happened to me before.
I
But it
know
wasn't
now.
at
Sitting
like
behind you, I was sitting
Obi's house.
behind
It
you
was
that day.
ahead,
Now, MI came. MI greeted
right?
you. I think one day, I think
Oh
Ice Prince. I think
yeah,
those
you were
one
there
day.
that
I
day.
think there were three
MI came,
people.
Ice Prince came.
Just MI is one day. Is MI, Ice Prince, and
There
one
were three
day.
people. I can't remember
Yeah,
the
I
third
think
person.
so.
Ice Prince.
I know. Who are
They,
you? I remember. I
at
remember.
one point,
I
one babe
remember.
just got up and said, "Please, who
I
are
remember.
you?"
I was sitting behind you. I was sitting behind you.
So who are you in this industry? I just say, I say,
Wow.
I
I
say,
was
please,
sitting
I'm just an
there. That
intern.
thing has
I
happened
am
to me
just an
twice.
intern. I
That's
don't know
happened
if
to
you know
me
what
at
I'm
the
talking
beach.
about.
That's happened to me at Obi's house. Yeah. The good beach was Patoranki. Yeah, it was Patoranki.
Wow.
And
Wow.
immediately this brief conversation happened. Just too bad it's just gone. Hey, hi, what's up? Are you in music? I said no. No, I'm not in music. I'm not in music.
I will say yes. I will.
I said no, I don't do music. Oh, nah, me and
When they don't
Kazim, my
cover
guy,
you.
I ain't come here. Oh, no, me, I don't do
Oh
music.
man.
Oh, that day was I was just laughing, bro. The vanity in Lagos. Yeah, that's it. I did house, my brother. I did house. But before
The
October, I
vanity
would love to do
is
this house
crazy,
again. I
fam.
love Obis house. It's my favorite place to go, like out, to like hang out. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Just like it's just
Yeah,
too
it's a
late, and
cool
Tuesday
joint.
I'll just wake up again. They walk, so that's why I don't. You know. But anyhow, once in a while, sha. Enough of us. Osagie, what's up? How was the week? Hmm?
Is it
No, you have to
is
be
it
done
free
now. I
entry?
don't tire for my.
No, I'm
I
not
don't
done.
tire for the
Is it free
conversation
entry?
because my week was boring. Nothing happened. It's just capitalism.
No, no,
All
no.
right, all
See,
right, no
but
problem.
oh no, hold
Okay.
on now. Hold on. I'm talking
No,
about
no, no. You have to
house.
book it. You have to
Is it
book a
is
table.
it
You
free
have to book a
entry? Can you
table.
just go in and have fun? How do you get access?
Yes, please.
You have to book a table. How many
Yeah.
tables at
Oh,
at
I
Hard
don't go
Rock
no now.
at the venue?
People enter for free,
And
sure. But I
they're
know that
quite a
you have to
number.
book a table. Yeah, but people still come for free, sure.
Yeah.
People can just randomly walk in, but I know that mostly you have to still also just book a table. I don't randomly walk in before because I know say if I go, I will see person where I know will just dey form G's. I can sit in there. You know what I mean? Like normal level. You know. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yep. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for that deep dive into Lagos subculture or no, the night culture or
No, I
whatever.
think I
But yeah,
sorry,
thank
I
you.
think
And
I think it's you book it. I think
the whole
from a
thing
certain
about
time, I think 12 midnight is free after 12. I think so. I can't remember. I think after 12, I think from after 12 is free, but before 12 it's just by reservation. That's how I think about. That's how I know it. I'm not, you know, me. I just a waka enter just because I don't give me level now. So anywhere I go in this Lagos, nobody can chase me. You know. Yep.
thank you
So
for
that
that
deep,
deep
deep
dive
dive.
into the Lagos nightlife culture. And I just want to say that you guys are already reaping the benefits of Afrobeats with
Bona
the
boy,
amount of
thank
people that
you.
No,
Bona
no,
boy,
no.
thank
I never
you.
buy.
Bona boy
So,
made it
I never
possible.
buy CLA 250. I never
This
repo.
is the
I never
motherfucking
repo
thanks you
anything.
get,
No, I
Bona boy.
never repo.
Take it.
you
It's bouncing bona. It's bouncing bona. Not the bona.
know. I'm just saying, Sha, you've reaped the benefits of Afrobeats.
Oh,
Make una well done. My week was good. Thank you very much for asking. I am working with um some so on the podcast side, right? We've been doing some work with some clients, and it's interesting to see how um inspired, energetic, and creative, young Nigerian women are when it comes to putting out content, and how passionate, that's the word, passionate they are in ensuring that is top notch. I think there's, compared to the guys I've worked with, guys just want it out. Like, hey man, get this thing done. Let's put it out. But the women are these women who we're working with, the young women, they're very, very, very meticulous with how they want the content to be perceived. And it was just interesting for me to see that. So yeah, Nana and I were working on it. We had some, audio sessions where we were listening to the final output of what we wanted to create, and we're editing and all that. So that was the highlight of my week, and I very much enjoyed it. So shout out to the ladies. Once the podcast is available, would
Hold on.
we'll give them a
Congrats.
shout
I'm
out
proud
on
of
this
you and the
podcast,
ladies and
definitely.
Nana.
Nice.
No, no, no. I'm proud of you and the ladies. No, no, no. We draw that. And he's owing me something.
Okay, because Nana messed up the audio the last time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, your clip for your mic.
At this scale, at this,
You need to track
no
Nana
worry, I ain't
down.
go track me. By the time I send out an SOS on him
At this
for
very
this city, hmm. Me no try me, no.
Oh shit. Hey, Bola
Me
way.
no try me, no.
Bola way.
my brother suffering they talk like
Guys,
that. Oh.
I
sorry,
beg
talk
God. The
like
streets are
that.
hot. Oh. The block is hot. I beg you, do not. Oh
Oh,
God.
good.
The block is hot.
You did, and not be you. No, no,
My
treat you
brother,
and
I
no,
know
no,
they
no,
there.
no.
Oh.
Maybe now you
Mm.
the first fine. So they can't use it locate
I
now.
know they, I know they there. I beg you. This podcast is a public forum. I
Oh
know they there. Oh.
man.
I know they there. Oh. But quick shout out to everybody listening to this podcast. Every week I get feedback from people from different regions of the world, and it is mind blowing how we don't even know the effects. We don't know how far. We don't know the impact of this podcast. But every week I am reminded. I met up with someone today who told me that there's a young lady living in somewhere in Europe who is a big fan of the podcast and has been listening to the podcast then and listening to it now. And you just don't know at times, and that's why I think we need to be careful at times too. The things we say, we can say it as jokes and bands, but people really do listen to this podcast, and some people take actions from things we say. Some people are inspired by the things we do. So you know inadvertently we are somewhat role models, and even if you don't want to consider yourself a role model, but you are, because you have thousands and right now hundreds of thousands of listens and downloads, right? We've crossed the 200,000 download mark, I believe, on Loose Talk. And that's a lot of people who've downloaded the podcast and people who listen to the podcast on a monthly basis. We have over, I believe, over 5,000, 4 to 5,000 listeners every month. That's a lot. So we can't see the impact from where we stand because we just record this thing and put it out and everybody moves back to their business. But there are people out there, and I just want to say I appreciate everybody that listens to this podcast. And yeah, thank you for listening. We're working on something where you can actually support us, and I know I've said this a million times, but like I think we're ready to do it now. Guys, what is the weirdest feedback you've got from the podcast?
I said just because people listen to the podcast and because you people are role
No,
models, we should stop having fun.
no,
We
you're
should
not.
not joke again.
Yes,
We should always be serious. That's what I'm trying to say. No, that's what you said now.
no, that's not what I'm saying. No, what I'm just saying, should just recognize the impact and the effect of
Mm.
what we have. And I think so far so good, right? So interestingly, like I think 70% of the people I talk to or that listen to podcasts, you are even their favorite co-host, right? Everybody says like Ayo, you know this already, right? Everybody says, "Oh,
Yeah.
Steve is my favorite. Steve is my favorite," and all that. So I think
Okay.
the message here is just like do you, be you, but still just remember that
No,
They are
you people are
people
touching my life
whose
too,
lives you are
so
touching.
it's a two-way.
All right. Pause, pause, pause,
How is
pause,
that a possible?
pause,
Wait, that's
pause,
why I
Why
pause.
is
clicked
why is it
because I was
why
waiting for you
pause?
to
It's
say
not a
pause.
possible thing now.
So you like people touching you. Okay. Sorry, whatever floats your
Not
boat.
there.
All right, let's get into this fan mail. So, fan mails, guys, we're also working on a fan mail episode. So, a lot of you have written. We have like lots of fan mails, right? And some are dated back to like the Mason Greenwood issue. Some people are still talking about cooking. Do you understand? And we're not going to read
Wow.
most of that on this episode. So, we have a fan mail episode where, guys, when are we recording? Let's commit to it. When are we recording this fan mail episode?
We can do the next one now. If there's no Wahala in this country again, we can do the next one.
We can do the next one. Cool. All right. So the next episode is fan mail episode, and we can just read all the fan mails. But I'll start this one with Osato EDK. Shout out to Osato EDK. What up, Giants? What's good, Osags, AOT2, and the lead researcher, Steve? I hate how people have just like branded Steve as the lead researcher, and like they kind of
Narrative.
be, yeah, and everybody just says lead researcher Steve, and that's how narratives are just shaped and formed and shaped, and it's painful to see that everybody writing is just going with it. It's quite painful. Listen, I put off writing in for a minute, but the last episode gingered me. I am Osato EDK, radio presenter, podcast enthusiast, and overall audio connoisseur. I swear that's the first time I'm using that word in written text in at least a year. But I am like that, sharp. I want to dive right into it, but first, I'd like to also thank you so much for the new iteration of the pod. The topical insights, the live gems, and measured conversations are some of the highlights of my week, and I'm grateful for your consistency. Last time I wrote into the pod was during the notorious episode in the first iteration of the pod. I was so happy Osags read it out. Omo, we shall know how that episode went down, and now the file only exists on the dark web, and it will remain there. People around Burna Boy's silly and dangerous comments on Afrobeats. I've heard stronger adjectives. I have stronger adjectives to use, but Osag said we should be civil. So anyways, when I first saw the clip the night on the Tuesday before the album dropped, I really wanted to say, maybe this was taken out of context, but Nabona. Of course, he said some ignorant stuff to the foreign press. I knew I had to get into it on my radio show in Abuja the following morning. So I did my journalistic due diligence and watched the full 44-minute interview and had small hopes for better context. But alas, no be Bona again. I'm happy a lot of knowledgeable cultural writers and media professionals did their bit to check the dangerous narrative, but we have to kill it entirely. There are stands and foreign consumers of Afrobeats who would take Burner seriously, and it's scary the kind of influence he has as a pop star, especially how irresponsible he gets when speaking on things he really doesn't have a range to tackle. So we must check him at every chance. I just want to wrap up and say I tried, guys. I tried to separate the artist from the art, but I know fit. His terrible character has put me off his music entirely, and this is me, who even my radio show listeners know was an unapologetic fan. It is a shame that such a talented and gifted person just isn't as smart as you would hope and fails to really educate himself on these things. You can tell, damn shame. I haven't bumped the album, Sha. Of course, the singles will make it onto the radio show, but as a fan of Afrobeats, I can't bring myself to give him my Naira and Kobo that clearly means nothing to him. He should enjoy his time in the sun and hope history is kind to him. That's from Osato EDK. Shout out to Osato EDK. This is one of I can start to call him, a young OG in the radio and audio space. And I know he's worked for Sound City. I don't know where you currently work, but I know he's based in Abuja now, and he's doing amazing things. So you guys can check him out on social media and then follow him through there. I just want to say, Osato, please go and listen to Burna Boy album because it's a dope album. Like beyond this, it's actually a good album. And I think it's in one of my, it's in the top range in on the list of all Burna Boy's albums is up there. I think it's like a top three Burna album. That's for me, Sha. What do you guys think about Sato's email?
Well, I feel that, and I kind of understand why you're emotional, but you should also learn to separate the artist from his, or the artist music from his personality. Especially the fact that you're an OEP and what you do is for thousands and or hundreds of thousands or millions of listeners out there. So you have to separate it at the end of the day. If you're in the music space like that, especially in the broadcasting sector or in the media space, people will always want to listen to Bonner. You just have to give them Bonner music at the end of the day. Or they want insights on Bonner's latest song or his latest album, and you have to give like expert views and opinions. So at the end of the day, your personal feelings hang it on the door, and when you step into the studio, recording studio, you have to do what you have to do at the end of the day. But thank you for doing your research and educating people out there that what he said was wrong and not factual. A lot of OAPs won't do that. They just go with, hey, Bonner is the hot guy and I don't want to go against him. But shout out for you to do for you doing your due diligence.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Very well said, and I agree with you. But I think, like you said, he's in a position where you still have to be able to review and share with the world what you think about, some certain topics, even though you might not be the biggest fans of those people. I think a parallel conversation or a parallel scenario now might be, Wole Soyinka's recent comments about, what has happened pre-election and post-election, right? And how I see how people on social media are somewhat confused, marrying the idea of Wole Soyinka as they have known him, through his books and who he is versus some of the comments he has made and how they differ on his political ideologies. Do you get what I mean? Yeah, like the same Wole Soyinka, and my own feedback there is that yeah, people are complex. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, some people can do like in your eyes, from your perspective, can be like the greatest authors or the greatest creators, and they might not agree with your own ideologies, right? I mean,
Hmm.
this is a bit different from like what Bona said. I think it's clear that what Bona said about Afrobeats not having substance is quite wrong, right? And he spoke from like an uninformed perspective, right? So that's one thing. I'm just saying, that creators are they will disappoint you. Not to say Voloshenko doesn't have a right to have his own political ideology or his own opinion. I'm just saying they might not. They are celebrities, but they are also human beings, and they are going to have contradicting views, or they are going to they are not going to be perfect through your your lens, so to say. And that happens to like everybody, and that's that we've gotten it on this podcast where people have written and said, oh, I don't agree with your views, or I was disappointed with your take. And that is one of us. Most times it's either me or Steve, right? And I mean, Anaya, you had your fair share as well. And yeah, you will be disappointed because I probably am not going to agree with you all the time. So same thing with some of the most popular people we've known, right? Didi is one of the biggest um 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 personalities when it comes to like urban music and all that, right? But there's a side of him that you will
Hmm.
probably not, right?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
There's a dark
So
side. Yeah.
yeah, but how do you marry that? How do you marry that, relationship of, or how do you marry that idea of somebody who has done so much, right? And then there's the side of that person that you don't really agree with, or you're not
It's, so it's life. You can't agree with anybody 100%. If you do that, that means you're lying to yourself. And it's good that you brought up this Diddy conversation because Diddy for me was like my icon. Everybody that grew up in hip hop in the 90s will know what Diddy did, man. It was unbelievable what he did. He just ran the monopolized the industry. But there's a dark side to his business at the end of the day. And you just have to take it the way it is. Every art, every celebrity, every icon, every known person in this world has a dark side. Whether it be Gandhi, Obama, Mandela, everybody has a dark side. So you just have to make peace with that. Look, human beings are not perfect. They're complex. Take what you like from them and use it like as a
Yeah,
life
yeah.
lesson for you.
I think it's that intelligence, it's that empathy and understanding of what we are as humans. We are all flawed, right? Like you, although there's a line, right? But you shouldn't expect everyone to be perfect, you know. So
Yeah, there's a line. I think
yeah,
the person
exactly.
that started that
That's a
line is
clear
like
line.
Kelly.
Yeah.
Ah no, Akeli, I
So
know. I know
yeah. So
Akeli's one
apart
will
from
giving up, will
these
giving up on that
obvious
one.
lines, right? Although in this our world today is we might not be too obvious, they should we should treat everyone with a level of grace, right? Especially if we claim to be religious as we claim to be, right? If we're religious as we claim to be, because all religion there's this concept called forgiveness and second chances, right? So yeah, it's unfair to hold people to a certain place where you don't expect them to be flawed. It's unrealistic for anybody in the world, you know. So that's it.
Who's that person that you love so much and then you see the flawed side of him and you're a bit disappointed?
Two people actually. Diddy and Kanye West. I think more with Kanye West because I saw Kanye West as the perfection. Like I've never heard a producer be so good rapping the way he is, and his production was just out of this world. Then the other half of his career. I know we said it in the former version of Loose Talk, where I was like, bro, Kanye is going off the rails, and it's gotten worse to where he started saying the whole Nazi thing and the whole Hitler thing. But at the end of the day, man, do I still listen to good? Do I still listen to graduation? Late registration. All those. I listen to everything. My beautiful dark twisted fantasy. Even the latest albums, I listen to it because you know what? A genius is a genius, but there's a dark side to the genius as well. So you just have to embrace what you like and just do away with what you don't like.
Yeah, yeah. Steve, what about you?
I mean, if you put it that way, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Chris Brown. So, yeah, he beat up his girlfriend, which is a very terrible thing to do. But I feel that, bro, this thing is 2009, February to 2009. Like, we shouldn't be talking about it again. Like, it's done, it's dusted. I think he has paid for it. He went to jail for it. So, I feel that he has paid for his crime and he should be allowed to move on. That's what I feel personally. But I don't even get into that whole conversation, bro. I just listen to his music and go home and go to my and mind my own business. I don't even join. I don't even argue anybody. The thing I don't even debate it with anybody. I don't have any cause to do that because you might have your own threshold. That might be the line, your own line. So it's fine. That's not my own line. That's not the line I'm going to drop an artist that an 18-year-old an 18-year-old had an issue with his girlfriend and he put hands on her, right? And what he was remorseful about it, and I think he has to an extent paid for it because he ultimately led him to serve time in prison. So it's not a conversation I've had in public or I've ever debated with anybody. There's no need for a debate. If you can't listen to him, oh fine, but me, I'm listening to him. So that's it.
Yeah, wait, did Chris Brown go to jail for that? Or he did community service?
Also, like so he was on probation. While he was on probation, I think he went for he was coming out from a club in DC. He said a man tried to kiss him. He punched the man. So that means if he had violated the probation, do you get?
Mm-hmm.
And I think he was sent on rehab. He couldn't stay in rehab. Then the judge now said go to jail. I think he said like he stayed 2 months in jail or something like that. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think mine was like Michael K. Williams, right? The actor,
Yeah.
popular
Oh
actor, the man from
yeah,
The Wire.
yeah.
Yeah, like I didn't know he was, addicted to drugs. I had no idea,
But that's
you know.
so the drug thing is
Heroin.
different. Sorry, wait, the drug thing is confusing to me because when someone is addicted to
Mhm.
drug, I don't see it as a crime, right? Because we
No, no,
know
no,
that
it's
it's
not a crime.
illegal. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
It's addiction. Addiction is
yeah,
I see it as a
yeah,
mental health
addiction is a
problem.
mental health thing. It's something we should be very sympathetic about, not judgmental
and
about.
I am actually. I'm not
Yeah,
judgmental about it, but
yeah,
I
okay,
didn't
okay.
see him through that life. I saw him as a strong black man,
Yeah,
who was like one of the best actors I know. And then I had no idea, he was addicted to like heroin, and then he died, because the thing was laced with fentanyl. And I
Yeah,
had no idea, and I was just like, wow, I never saw him through that light. Almost like demystified
Oh, okay.
him.
I think they've sentenced the guy that sold him
Sharp,
Yeah, they
sharp,
found the guy. They
sharp,
yeah,
found the
sharp.
guy.
They don't play
Yeah,
with
they
that in
found
Yankee. Oh.
they sentenced him.
the
Yeah.
same the person who also sold fentanyl list. I don't know what kind of drug to Mac Miller. They
Mike
found the
Miller
guy as
too.
They found the person
Yeah.
too. Yeah, sure.
well.
Sharp pitch, you they go.
Yeah, yeah. Like they found him and they've sentenced them. Rest in peace, Mac Miller.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Michael K.
Makeke.
Williams. Speaking about Mac Miller, right? So there are some for me, right? There are some big creatives that are respected. I respect them. I acknowledge what they've done, but I'm not the biggest fan of them or the biggest consumers of their work.
Mm-hmm.
And I know everybody has one artist or one person. I think
Yeah.
mine is Mac Miller, right? So I have a couple. Mac Miller, number one. I won't sit down and listen to Mac Miller's music on the fly. But when I did, like I acknowledge he's one of a fantastic rapper, a fantastic creator, but I'm not the biggest fan. Same thing with like a producer like Jules. I acknowledge
Mm.
that Jules is a really good producer, but I'm not just the biggest fan of his works. You get
I
another
guess.
person is like Anderson Park. When you guys heard the Anderson Park album,
Oh
I
my
think it's
lord.
Bro,
I've
I
that's
heard the
kind of
is
album.
that
I went,
is the album is a classic.
yeah, and I went back to listen to it, and this thing is like great, but I'm not just
Oh, you,
the
oh,
biggest
okay.
fan
You're a
of.
hater. All right, all
Yeah,
right.
you
All
guys have anybody like that?
For me,
right.
it's
I
Prince.
think mine is
You, no
Prince
matter
Ross.
no
Prince
matter
Ross,
the
not
shout,
Rick
oh
Ross.
Prince
So yeah.
was oh,
Wait,
you
Steve,
continue, continue. Well, I said for me, it's Prince. Like, no matter they say, oh, he was the closest to Michael Jackson. Some people say he was better. Bro, I don't get it. Like, fam, I don't get the music at all. I
is it
know he's a
because of when?
legend. I know
Is
he's
it because of when
great.
we were born?
No, it's
Because
not when he died, though. Like,
no, but
I
when
knew,
we were born, right? When we
yeah,
were born, we were in Nigeria. We were just birthed into Michael Jackson.
yeah. So I think it's also that issue that we also Michael Jackson as number one. And that's why people in our generation, whenever you say the Beyonce Michael Jackson thing, we laugh because after God then was Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was the next guy. There was no this thing. So I never got Prince. I've never still got him till today. I've tried to listen to his albums, his essentials, his best of Prince collections and albums. It's still hard for me, man. I don't get it.
So Prince is for you. I don't see
Yeah,
it as well. I've listened to Prince's stuff. I watch Purple Rain. Good stuff, right? But I don't see how you can compare that to the man who made
Michael,
Thriller
come on.
or
I
the man
think
who
I think
made
for
like
Prince, I think
Off
Prince
the
is a
Wall.
cultural taste. Prince was
Yeah, because
predominantly
Americans love
Prince.
him.
Prince record is it's titled American culture, and if you've not really experienced it, you wouldn't know it. I think that's the problem with it. We have with it. Unlike Michael Jackson that did like international pop, like they're all related to. I think Prince for me, Ross, not the Rick Ross, Ross, and there's this gospel guy that Nigerians like. What's his name? This gospel rapper,
John
Mali
Bellion.
music.
John Bellion. Thank you, John
So
Bellion. I think those
Bombolo is
are.
not gospel, though. Bombolo is just
It's
pop.
not
Oh.
gospel. Sorry, it's not gospel. But it's Mali music that's gospel. But It's John Bellion I'm talking about. Sha. I don't
See,
get
John
it.
Bellion is John Bellion tilts towards gospel,
It
but
tilts
it's
towards
not really
gospel.
gospel. It's very
It's
I don't
very.
fuck with that
Caribbean.
guy's music. I get
Yeah,
the musicality of everything,
I
but
get
bro,
it exactly.
I'll
So that's
pass.
it. Those are the three
But
artists for me.
Nigerians love John Bellion.
Ah,
Nigerians
well,
love that guy,
love.
eh?
Nigerians,
I
bro, it's
like
an
Mali music. A
obsession.
lot. I think there are two
John
Mali
Bellion's
music
music
albums that I
video.
really like. So I like Mali music.
Yeah, there's that album, that
Yeah,
Mali music album everybody likes.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like people like John Bellion in Nigeria, my brother.
It's a cult. Oh. Those guys don't fuck around with him.
Shout out to John Bellion.
I think for Ross makes too much noise for the kind of music. His music is not exceptional. It's just there. But the noise he
It's just
makes on
normal
Twitter
rap.
and
Yeah.
Instagram, and like, oh, look at all these original streams I'm doing now, better than your fave and rich, bro. Yeah, we get it. You're independent, fine. We get it. If you're on a major label, you know go do past this one, so it's okay. Thank you.
Shout out to Ross. And that's RUSS.
Yeah,
So I listen to some
IUSS.
of his music. It's actually dope. But I think the issue I have with Ross is what you guys have as well. I do not see, from my perspective, um anything original. It's almost like it's he's creating what has been created before.
Yes, generic.
And you don't even need to be like the biggest guy to make original stuff. I'll give you an example. Dom Kennedy, right? The guy from the West Coast. You listen to his music, man, it's authentic. It's very original, And that's Dom Kennedy. He's not the biggest rapper. He's not a top 20 rapper. But when you listen to Dom Kennedy's music, man, this is Dom Kennedy,
Yeah.
right? When you listen to E40's music, yes, this is E40.
Griselda,
When you
all
listen,
those guys.
yeah, when you even listen to rappers like what's this guy, Sir's brother, D Smoke,
Mm-hmm.
you know that yeah, this is D Smoke. That's my issue with Ross. I don't see any. I mean, I'm sure there's some originality in there, but it's not enough for me to
It's
gravitate
just not
towards your music all the
exceptional.
time. Yeah, that's how I feel about Ross's music. Shout out to Ross. All right, let's get back into this fan mail. This is from Okweyemi. Shout out to the Giants, being a day one listener, literally from episode one. But I built my career and online persona off the old Osags, and seeing him change and become so PC somehow. I guess it's growth. How have I become? What's this old Osags? What's this? See this narrative and Okwemi. This is actually Okwemi Farmer King. Shout out to you, friend of the show, right? And Okwemi, what do you mean the old Osags? This is still me. How have I changed? Guys, have I changed?
You're still the same person. I don't know what you're talking about. Though.
You have
Just
changed.
because
You
see,
have
I knew Steve was
evolved.
going to do this with us. I knew he was going to do this. Because this old Osags is a narrative. Because I will go off on a few episodes, and everyone will say, Osags, this is always me. It's just that one episode someone will just tick me off and I will just go off. And then everybody will call that Osags real
No, no,
Osags.
no, no, no. So the change was that you didn't need anybody to piss you up before. Before you were constantly pissed. Oh
Oh
God.
my god.
There are so many.
Okay,
There are
then
so many episodes. How many do I count? But the one that stands out, I don't know if I can talk about it, is the one that
which
Sagi
one?
just went on and tweeted someone carrying a bag in the music video and said the person was copying another person that carried a bag in the music video. They just put the two
Well,
together.
Mm.
when
And I'm
school
like,
no
this
see
boy is
no
crazy. And I told you
no
that
no
dinner,
but
like I says, oh, you are reaching. I told you.
no but I was not reaching.
You were, you were,
He
you were.
literally,
Oh,
bro,
you
I
are
am
still
going to
messing.
no 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 no. It was the scales video,
Ah, you're okay,
right?
okay.
It
I
was the
can't remember what
scales
you guys are
video.
talking about, sir.
I can fully remember the shit that he's talking about. There's a video of skills that skills did. And shout out to skills, right? We actually made up. Then I recently found out he blocked me again. But that was like a long time ago, like maybe like 5 years ago, he blocked me again. But like last time we saw, we're cool. But there was this video of Skills, right, which is a knockoff version of Olamide's Woe. It's literally the same thing he's doing. He's wearing that what they call that bag that you wear, Ayo.
Which one? I can't remember.
The bag you always wear across your neck now. That Gen Z people wear.
Oh, that pouch that you wear.
Yes, the pouch.
Okay, okay, okay.
The
I don't know the
what's
name
it
of
called?
it. Strap bag or something like that. Let me look for it, sir.
Do you understand? So he's wearing it. He's almost dressed the same way Olamide was dressed, right? In the Wo video. Remember that Olamide Wo?
Hmm?
Wo. Uh-huh. He's dressed like that, right? And I'm like, I just go on Twitter because I'm like, hey, one thing we can admit happens in Nigerian music industry is people copy a lot. If yes or no,
Oh, yes, the copy now.
people copy a lot, like a lot to the point where it's just irritating. Do you understand? And they copy things that are trending. So if somebody does XYZ, everybody's doing it and they would overflog it till they move to the next thing. Right? That was what was happening here. So I went on Twitter and I was like, come on, man, you can't be doing this. Like, what is all this? And then the guy just, descends on me on Twitter and goes on a fucking tirade, which is fine. I mean, get your shit off. As a young man, I was coming for his business and he was not happy about it. Yeah, fine, fair. So that's what happened. Just wanted to explain that. So Steve, I was not reaching. I was very right.
Okay, no wala.
I'm looking for that video because
My
I'm going to send it.
guy.
He's going to put it in the show
Uh,
notes so people can watch. I hope I find it. Did I tell you that Dana Gog reached out to me not recently, but like I think like last year.
Yeah, you
oh,
said
sorry.
you mentioned it briefly. Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Dana Gog. Yeah, I've mended with everybody that I had issues with. No, I've mended with everybody. I have no
Okay, you've
issue.
met with everybody. All right, cool.
Yeah,
You don't have any
yeah.
pending issue again.
There's no pending somebody.
No, is there?
No,
There's somebody paying denial?
no Tottenham selling. No Tottenham sold out artist. That yeah,
He's
that
talking
you
about
still have to
whiskey.
mend with.
He's talking about whiskey.
Brother, it's all love. Oh. It's
Okay, okay.
love.
Maybe you've had a meeting with him, so we didn't know about that
It's all
meeting, sir.
love, less ego.
It's
Okay, more love, less
more
ego.
love. Let's see go.
All right,
By
cool.
the way, speaking about more love, let's see go. Why do people not like our album?
Osage, more love, less ego. Please, I'm begging the name of God.
Let me
Positivity.
tell you.
And
Let me
please,
tell you.
I'm looking at the cross. Onward Christian
It's
soldier.
not a, it's not a
I
bad
must
Let
go
me
album,
tell
by
you.
the way. It's
paradise.
not made in Lagos. That's the thing. The quality dropped after made in Lagos.
See, and that is the problem
Uh,
you people have.
it's not the
You
sound.
people
It's not.
start
It's the
one,
quality.
my brother. You
Mhm.
people will come with one narrative, and that narrative will shape everything immediately, and then lead to the
But
development of the
It's a standard. It's a standard of
there's
expectation
no
now.
group there's no group
You
that
brought
drops a
an
bigger
album.
narrative more than Whiskey FC. So
Exactly. How can you?
so
What do you want me to judge? What do you want me to judge Whiskey with? With his works now.
I'll tell you for a fact, More Love Less Go is a very good album.
okay.
And
It's not a very good album. It's a good album, but
the
it's
only
not a
crime
very good
that
album.
album has committed,
Steve, leave us again. You know what the streets are saying.
Leave him.
the only crime
The
that
one you just stay settle.
see, we,
Leave him.
I don't like this thing you're doing. You know why? Hold on now, make I talk now. Don't do
All
this.
right,
We've
talk,
not
talk.
even finished your museum, but let me just quickly cut in here. The only crime More Love Less Ego has is coming after Made in Lagos. Do you know the treatment More Love Less Ego is having is the same treatment Made in Lagos was having until Essence became very big? Do you know?
Okay.
When Made in Lagos dropped in 2020 now, COVID period, people had the same feeling. Oh, what kind of Whiskey's music is this? Why is he singing like this? Oh, why is he doing this? And then Essence picked up and became the focal point of the album to the point where people can't speak bad about the album. More Love Less Ego is having the same treatment.
It's not as if
When More
people
Love,
spoke bad about it, but it doesn't have a long shelf life. Like it came, did its thing, but it
and
wasn't
that's what
it
doesn't
didn't
have,
dominate like other Whiskey albums.
and it didn't do that because people placed a narrative on it immediately and shut it down.
And the
And it,
people that can help place a counter narrative, where they now? Abi, they're on Twitter now. They should put the counter narrative to block the narrative.
bro, you know that's not how this thing works.
It does because when they're abusing people, they know how to run with that narrative.
Forget about that abusing or not abusing. I'm just talking about the album itself is a good album. Like listen to it. I listened to it then. I listen to it now. There are good songs on that album, and the only crime, like I said, that album has is coming after Made in Lagos. I'm
Well,
telling you.
okay.
I'm telling you.
Posterity will
The,
be the judge.
the narrative has already been placed on it. Well, let's revisit this conversation 5 years from now. But guys, just go and listen to the album again and listen to it without Made in Lagos narrative. Just listen to the album. Personally, I think it's a dope album. Anyway, back to Okoyemi Zimion. So this old Osags, new Osags, I don't agree with you, Okoyemi. Please, the Osags has always been Osags. Thank you. He said, now this is for the new giant listeners. Pardon my French, but I need y'all to shut the fuck up about the lead researcher's takes. He said what he said,
Energy.
and he backs them off with data. I don't know the data you're talking
As a lead
about.
researcher now, Sagi don't hate.
Come on for you. Most times in his takes, he basically mirrors what Niger feminists say, and still the women listeners are pissed. What exactly do you people want? Okoyemi don't vex. Anyways, I just wanted to say my mind. Leave Steve alone. He said what he said.
That's it.
Also, have you guys considered bringing in new Gen Zs and having a spin off of Loose Talk somehow, or something like how you would do with the ladies in the past? As you document things from an OG perspective, they can document things from a Gen Z perspective. Anyways, have a lovely day. I'm a loyal and ride or die fan. Shout out to Okoyemi Farmer King again.
Shout out to you.
You guys,
Shout out to
yeah,
you,
check out.
brother. Shout out to you.
He does, some interesting reviews on restaurants and food culture, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's gone viral once or twice.
Once or twice is madly Osagi.
He's the
For his
biggest
own
food,
take.
the biggest food influencer in food critic in Nigeria.
Biggest, wow.
No, he
Yeah,
is.
he
He
is.
is.
Yeah.
If you walk
Yeah.
into a restaurant, you're dead. They will just close it down. So you have
Yeah,
Salomela, whatever
the-
they call that thing. Say we know the work today.
in
And
fact, the last time that's the place I met what's her name now? Yaounde's sister, Oyo, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, while I was thinking of where to go, I had like four places in mind. And I'm like, let me even check all of their Instagram. I went to the place I went to the Instagram, and the first video I saw was this video talking about how he went there, blah blah blah, what he ate. I was like, you know what? I like what Okwe likes. Let's
Okay.
go.
Okay. You don't like 8,000 naira puff puff and milk.
That's my favorite DJ Khaled video, like video ever. I like what Drake likes. Drake likes it.
Obviously.
I like I like what Drake like.
Now Drake give me a single now, of course.
Before.
You like it.
So immediately I saw the IG page. I just made my decision. I said, you know what, this is where I'm going to, and I had a good time. It wasn't bad, but yeah, that's it.
yeah, shout out for him. Shout out to him for being consistent. It's not easy. It's not easy being a food critic in Nigeria. First of all, you are plunging yourself into the unknown, because you have to eat all that food. And yeah, being a critic in general in Nigeria is not for the faint-hearted. Let's just put it like that, because you're always going to, and the bigger you get as a critic, the more difficult your work is, because you start to build relationships with people,
Yeah.
and you have to still draw the line, where you have to get your job done, and then some people are not happy about it. Um, so yeah, being a critic in Nigeria is actually difficult. No matter the industry you're in, media like him now, everything that has to do with, like, restaurant and food, and no, even if you review book, whatever it is, politics, whatever. Like, being a critic is not an easy job. So shout out to all the critics there, all the critics listening. The last fan mail is from Steve. Wait, what's going on, Steve? If it's Steve that wrote this thing. Anyways, the guy says he's Steve, he's Nigerian, his current location is Ghana. Um Hi Lustock Giants. I'm a day one listener of your show. My favorite episode of the season is I told them about the bubble episode, and it was really insightful. Good job, guys. I listened to your last episode and the part where Osage was narrating his flight experience with Royal Air Maroc and kept mentioning Ghana must go bag. Caught my attention. I recently moved to Ghana, and during my stay, I have experienced series of discriminative situations where I'm being stereotyped and discriminated against for being a Nigerian. I understand that they have their own fair share of discrimination from Nigerians too, as the common phrase used to describe a bag, Ghana must go, is being used carelessly by Nigerians without even knowing they are discriminating against a whole country, and these people find the phrase offensive. For your young Nigerian and Ghanaian listeners like me, I would love to I would love it if you guys can give us a brief history of how the phrase Ghana must go was coined and how the unspoken rivalry between Nigerians and Ghanaians started. Thank you for reading my mail and have a blessed day, guys. Ayo, I would bring this to your doorstep as our pop culture connoisseur.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get the year particularly, but
Seventies, right?
it happened in the 80s during the Shagari, the deportation of West African
1983,
migrants from
1983
Nigeria.
specifically.
1983, January 1983, the Shehu Shagari administration, Nigeria was going through economic hardships. And one thing that all incompetent leaders do when they're going through economic hardships and they have a huge migrant population is to blame the migrants. So Shagari woke up one day and said they're going to force out illegal immigrants in Nigeria. And most of the illegal immigrants back then, I know it sounds crazy now, were Ghanaians. A lot of Ghanaians were living in Nigeria. Most kids from the 80s and early 90s, obviously, most of us had a Ghanaian teacher or a Ghanaian house help somewhere. It was not strange to see a Ghanaian in Lagos or in Nigeria. They were common. So
And
Shagari,
Ayo, before you go ahead, please
yeah.
can you tell us why there was such an influx of Ghanaians in Nigeria at the time?
Oh, there was an influx of Ghanaians in Nigeria of Ghanaians back then in Nigeria because Nigeria was the shit. We have found gold. We have just found oil money.
Oh,
Oil
yeah,
money was booming
1970. Yeah,
in the
1970s.
70s. The 70s was like a place where so a lot of our iconic monuments in Nigeria were built in the 70s. First like 77, National Stadium, National Theatre, because there was oil money. Go was it no? Go said that money was not Nigeria's problem, but had to spend it. That's how much money we were making from oil. So this attracted a lot of immigrants to Nigeria, and obviously, West Africa, West Africans will obviously come here, and majority of West Africans, apart from Nigerians, Ghanaians take the majority. So that attracted a lot of Ghanaians to Nigeria. It was the 1970s oil boom, you know. And when things went down south, the price of oil crashed in the 80s. Unemployment increased, inflation increased, and the government at the time, Shehu Shagari, said, "You know what? Let's force out all illegal aliens in Nigeria." And there
There
were
also
over
there
two
was also
million.
contest. There's also contest before then. There were two things that led to it. There were a lot of crimes committed by immigrants, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
remember there was this pastor, there was this religious leader. I think he's from Cameroon. He did something very, very something like he led people to commit a lot of crime, right? There was something I can't remember the
Yeah.
gist. I've forgotten his name. Then there was also the vice president's home at that time. Alexander, was it Ekweme or so?
Yeah, Kwame, yeah, Alexa Kwame.
His house was robbed by people who were later known to be Ghanaians. An election was
Mm.
coming up that year too, so everybody was looking for who to blame for the
Yeah,
economic
obviously.
hardship and for the crime, and
So
they said it
scapegoats,
was
yeah.
immigrants. Yeah, yeah.
So out of the 2 million immigrants who were then deported, 1 million Ghanaians were among them. So that's 1 million Ghanaian people. And when they were told to go, there was this cheap woven nylon zipped tote bag, very big. That's what they were using. It was in the market back then, and that's what they were using to pack all their properties, their goods, their clothing, whatever they had. And Nigerians now we are humorous people, for crying out loud, and we will see comedy in things. So when these guys were carrying all these bags, this bag, whether it was blue, whether it was red, whether it was black, we just called it Ghana must go bag.
No, no, Ayo.
Yeah.
You also have to mention, like from the campaign was birthed from the whole thing, and it was the Ghana must go campaign.
Oh yeah, the Ghana must go
That's when the
campaign.
whole
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
came
yeah.
about.
Yeah, so that now led to that bag was not associated with it, and it's called Ghana must go bag. Funny enough, a few decades before, Ghanaians had done the same thing to Nigerians, where they kicked out a lot of Nigerians from Ghana. So this was like 1-1, and the name has stuck ever since. I'm sure a lot of people don't even know. That's why I think this listener was asking us to explain what it means. So that is just the reason. At the end of the day, was just the mass
I
deportation of
think that
illegal immigrants in Nigeria.
I think that Ghana thing was also fueled by the personal feud between Shagari and what's his name, Jerry Rollins, right? Because
Oh
Jerry
yeah,
Rollins one time accused Shagari of trying to sponsor a queen in Ghana. So the Ghana-Nigerian relationship, it had deteriorated, I think from 1982, and that was the sentiment that Shagari came and used his foreign minister to make that statement about Ghanaians. And it was a very painful exercise because I remember reading about people who died from stampede in at the Semebeda during the
yeah,
whole
yeah.
rush. And, like it's just
Yeah, there's the same my brother thing again where they closed the border. And all of them were stuck along that route. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the Nigeria and Ghana have a very funny history. It's like a big bro. I won't say a big brother, small brother, but it's like sibling rivalry. Trying to one up. Everybody's trying to one up the other person, and we see it in our food, we see it in football, we see it. Okay, it's not in film, sha. It's not in film and music. I think it's in food and football. Yeah.
It's creeping in the music. It's not in film, but it's creeping in the music. We can see some
No,
sentiments
they
there.
don't. No. The issue is that Nigeria has dominated African music. And that was the feeling back then when ECOWAS was in when they had when ECOWAS was really active in the 90s, right? And Abacha was one, there was ECOMOG that time, and most of the ECOMOG soldiers were Nigerians. And Ghana was complaining that this is just another avenue for Nigeria to just dominate West Africa again. But our problem is that our population is too large, and there's no how we're able to do that.
Yeah, guys,
So let me
just
ask you a
just
question
be
first.
curious and also go read up these things yourself. It's a very interesting story.
Yeah.
Matastin or something. They said the guy organized a religious insurrection in Nigeria at that time. I can't remember his name again. He's a Cameroonian pastor. Because I remember that was part of the. Bro, guys, go and read up on this thing and just be curious yourselves. That's just the cross of the whole issue. How you has explained it. I hope with these
Okay.
few
Yeah.
points of
So
been able to
in the
convince
late
you.
1970s, Ghana expelled a lot of Nigerians. So that was another event that led up to that 1983 immigration deportation.
Okay, so my question now is: should we still call those bags Ghana must go? And when we do, is it offensive?
It's offensive to the people that are being referred to. Like there are millions of Nigerians who were just born and rightly like they don't know why it's called Ghana must go. They just say Ghana must go back. Is that thing of not is history again? Once again, history and knowledge of the past, and we're very bad with that. I think in Nigeria, every 10 years or 8 years, we just chop off the history and we create something new and we move on and we forget what's happened in the past. I mean, there are young Nigerians that don't know why First Stack was built. They don't even know the meaning of First Stack, so they don't even know why First Stack was built. The First Stack they go to in Lagos, they don't know why it exists, and that's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So I thank you, Ayo.
Yeah.
And thank you for the deep dive. But right now, so if someone says Ghana must go back, should we consider it as, or should we acknowledge that some Ghanaians find it offensive, and then we shouldn't call it Ghana must go anymore?
If there's no, if there are no Ghanaians
First of all, how
around you,
many Ghanaians?
there are no Ghanaians around you. So maybe on public
How many
platforms,
Ghanaians in Nigeria now?
maybe on public platforms, okay, but in everyday conversations,
Steve, that's wild. That's equivalent to saying a white man can say the N word with his white friends.
But that's what
they
they
do.
do now.
They do now.
They do. Now. Every white
They
person
do.
says they will be closed doors.
They do now. In
Let's
short,
hope we
even
forget.
the self awareness to even do that, to always do that, and not do it when you are with black people, it shows that you are a smart person and you understand the. Yeah, it shows
There's
that you are
no
smart.
way you tell me why people don't say the N word behind
They say
closed
it.
doors.
Now
They
you
do.
think
They
these
listen
guys
to
are
rap music now. How about
rapping in their house. They don't put the. You think Eminem does not say nigga when he's rapping at home.
yeah? They can't censor
There's
themselves
nobody
at
there.
home now.
There's nobody there to be offended now. So that's it.
Yeah.
So maybe we can start talking about it on public platforms on where our Ghanaian people can hear about it. But maybe in private conversations we can just say it.
I bet Pastor that kind of must go.
All right. So yeah, I see. I see your point in not mentioning it in public platforms or on public platforms rather, since there will be people who can take offense to it. So we just need to respect that. So yeah, going forward, we won't talk about the GMG bags anymore.
Hmm.
All right, so we're done with all the fan mail today. Let's
That's
get
good.
into that's good, I mean. 1 hour in. That's good. Let's talk about what's going on. So this Mohbad Z, I don't want to talk about it. I want to talk about it from a different angle.
Which angle is that?
Not necessarily that's planning for death. I just want to
Yeah, the
first of
verse.
all
So I could talk about
say
them.
rest in peace, Mohbad.
Yeah, Imole.
Mole, Imole, truly delights. Truly delights. An amazing artist, amazing writer. I discovered him personally you know, well, I didn't discover him. I knew of him rather with the KPK record,
Yeah,
and
smash.
then the Feel Good record was what won me over. Um, I was won over when I heard the Feel Good record. Such amazing writing. The song won me over. That's my best version. That's my best song from him. Then after that is the first song of his first EP, the light EP, called Sorry. The guy writes with a lot of conviction. You
Yeah,
can feel the pain. You can feel the you can feel the passion in his music, the way he writes. Um, so I just want to say rest in peace. Um,
Imole.
the impact you had when you were on this earth will be felt for years and felt for generation. And I pray that what you've created lasts for many, many, many years for people who are even unborn right now, for them to consume your music and your arts and feel the same way we feel and you felt when you made it. Yeah, that's what I have to say concerning Mobad himself. I think I can speak about other things when you
Yeah, you
guys
say you
talk.
want to say something about preparing for death or something.
Yeah, but I want to say that after you guys have talked about, did you guys want to say anything about?
Um, yeah, I can't even remember how. That's how shocked I was when I saw the tweet. I just saw a bunch of tweets on obviously on X, and I was like, this is impossible. This is not true. But a few industry people now just started confirming the story, and I was like, bruh, this is sad. It's a great thing to see a young man or a young person come into his own and just come into the fulfillment of his destiny, right? And it's so painful. On the other end, it's so painful that you see a lot of potential in somebody, but circumstances, could be the environment, society, your background, family background, holds you back, and you never ever hit that stride. Mohbad was just 27, great talented writer, singer, a rapper. He was tapping into that core of at the Afrobeat space where it's not sexy, it's not
The
flashy,
one
it's
that
the
has
real stuff, it's the gritty
substance.
stuff, right? Yeah, you obviously, yeah, he has substance, definitely. And his life just went away like that, It wasn't as if that, there were cases of him coming out to say he was ill or anything. His life just got snuffed out like that. And that's what hit everybody hard. Like somebody who had clearly overcome some public struggles with, his labels and everything. I was not looking promising that, okay, he might get his mojo back. And he just died that way. It's a sad thing to see. And yeah, rest in peace to Mubad. Thankfully his music will live on, for years, and people will get to listen to, will be able to understand why I was such a genius, or very talented artist.
Bro, I'm heated. Like I've not been hurt by the death of a celebrity since like Kobe Bryant, right? This was really heart wrenching. Seeing such a young man, 27, such a young star, cut off while he was not even nowhere close to his prime. It was so sad, sha, and a huge loss to Nigeria, to Afrobeat, and most importantly to his family, to his wife, to his son, and every loved ones. Look, I don't know this man, right? I've never known him personally, so I'm just speculating. But we have seen a lot from social media since his death, and I can personally say that you know I see him as someone who was like really very naive about the street, about the industry, and that was ultimately like really hurt him. You see, like when we talk about living in a dysfunctional society, right? Like Nigeria, is that you have to try every possible way to take care of yourself, and that's why you see why we Nigerians, anytime we make money, we try to make ourselves better than the other, like the our neighbors. That's why there's a generator called a better pass your neighbor. You buy
Yeah,
inverters,
yeah,
buy good gas. You just try to like do things yourself, because there's no help or hope coming from anywhere. You know, um, this is a young man who made the mistake of hanging out with the wrong crowd, and he paid for it with his life. This was a he couldn't get a way out. He was bullied, harassed, beaten, intimidated before he died. It's painful, and it brings me to my point. That in a dysfunctional society like Nigeria, you have no choice But to be morally flawed, you have to be evil, if I can put it that
Yeah.
way. Because if you're not, there's no one, no authority to help you. You have to fight for yourself. And there's no way you can get yourself in that position to fight for yourself if you are not a criminal, or if you're not, like, let me say, morally flawed. Look at the kind of people that our society like keep rewarding. You know, morally flawed people, or even straight up criminals. You know, and if Mohbad was someone like that, he would have probably been alive right now. I'm not advocating for anybody to be morally flawed or to be a criminal. I'm just, but when you hear people often talk about Nigeria or complain about how dysfunctional this country is, this is what we're talking about. This is one of the disadvantages. The common man is left vulnerable, defenseless. And when you are left defenseless, what happens? What choice do you have? You have to defend yourself. And in the case of Mubad, he couldn't just do that because he wasn't, morally flawed. It's as someone who just really hates bullying, I hate bullying. I just hate it. Um, it's just sad seeing what happened to this young man. And there's no greater joy than, like, me, that I feel like I experience for other people, than seeing people rise from death, from nothing, and just like really carve a way out from themselves. This guy wasn't a street guy. He learned
At
carpentry. He
all.
was a carpenter. He raised money. That's like he was like the story. Raise money to get into the music industry, to record his music. His talent got him into the wrong hands, and he lost his life. This is an amazing story that they didn't allow the story to just reach like a the point that it would just really like explode. It's just sad, man. I'm just ranting, man. It's just, I'm hot. That's it. So it's back to you.
Thank you, Chief Correspondent Steve.
Lead researcher.
Um, the lead researcher.
Good, good,
I beg your apologies.
good, good,
I
good.
beg your pardon. No, your apology.
Please,
Sorry.
please, please.
I feel you, Steve. I don't want to go down this route. That's why
Yeah, I get you. I
I've
get you.
refused
I
to
get you.
just
Yeah.
mention everything because
I get
it might just lead to, an
you.
uncontrollable, volatile rant,
Yeah,
and I don't want to go there.
I get you.
There's
I
too
get
much to talk about. It's
you.
very painful, and um, we've seen a lot on social media. We've seen what's going on, and I really don't want to talk about it
Bro,
because it's
let's move
painful.
on
Like
now.
you
Let's
said,
move on. Let's
painful.
go to the next topic.
Yeah, 27 young man gone. And you know what was painful? What was painful is that they had to break this man's young neck to fit in the coffin. They had to break his neck.
There's another story
Do you
behind that
understand?
again, which I don't want to say on this podcast, but
Uh huh.
it's crazy.
I came across that picture and I shared it here.
Me, I didn't see the picture. Wherever I saw that burial, I just flipped on it fast. I don't just want to see him that. I just didn't want to see him that way.
The whole thing is, and for young men listening to this podcast, young men and young women, you know, eh, listening to this podcast, start to plan your put your affairs in order. There's nothing like, oh yes, I'm not going to die. I'm going to live a very long. Yes, everybody wants to, but some people don't, right? So as you are planning for life, always plan for death. It's not a bad thing. You know what is bad? Leaving this world and then leaving it in what? In disarray. That the
Mm.
people who have to pick up, after you are confused, don't know what to do. And it even becomes more difficult for them and you've left a problem behind, right? We we've come from the era where and we've witnessed it and we've experienced it where well-to-do people have passed away and they just left problems,
Oh yeah, definitely no, definitely.
you know, where you have see when I pass away, I wanna I want it to be easy for the people who are going to lay me down, lay me to rest. And so you have to start to plan properly. Do you have health insurance so that when you need support. When you need that support, if you have any health issue, God forbid, right? You are sorted. You have life insurance. And when you pass away, there's an amount that is paid to some people that you love that they will not need to look for money to beg around to bury you. You're not too young to have these things. You have your affairs in order. The passcodes to your email addresses to accounts, all these things. You have it stored somewhere. I've talked about this on the podcast before. There's an app called LastPass, and it's $40 a year, the premium version. You can have your dependents or your next of kin have access to it 6 hours after. You can set it can be 1 hour up to 6 hours, and then I think 24 hours where they can request. If something has happened to you, they can request, and it takes a period of time that you can set. If you do not respond to their email, it means they will have access to everything that you have loaded up on there. And you can have your will there, you can have access to your accounts there, your passcode, everything. And so that, bro, I know somebody who was no, I didn't even I saw someone on Twitter go on did a whole thread of how he worked in a financial institution, and the biggest issue they used to like he experienced maybe in the department he worked was well-to-do people would pass away, right? And their partners, and they will have, you know, money in their accounts that wasn't declared to their partners, and their partners were not aware.
Yeah.
And they will see their partners come into the bank to withdraw little sums of money, not knowing that their partners who have passed away had millions in an account. And I think it was forbidden, you know, by the financial institutions to actually contact the partner because they were not aware, they were
Yeah,
not,
you can't do that.
put as next of kin. And so people do all these things, and you don't have your affairs in order, and then people you claim to love end up suffering when you leave. So think about what you are doing, right? As you go and pop the Azul and the Macallan
I mean, which one's a
on
Makala?
Friday night. Eh?
Which one be a Makala?
Macallan.
Oh,
It's a
Makalan.
drink.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and the Glenfiddich and all the drinks you want to pop and jump on the couch. Please set up your life. That's what I just want to say about the whole thing. So that when anything happens, God forbid, you have your shit in order. By the way, I want to do a quick segue. Steve, and please, you can join this conversation. Everybody, please. What is the obsession with, what's Nigerians' obsession with alcohol to the point where it's beyond just drinking alcohol? I'll give you an example. You see your guy, we did club, I think we down to Jameson, Black Barrel, now we just do like 4 Macallan, like one as. What is the like? It's just alcohol. Go and drink alcohol. Why do they get overtly excited about drinking alcohol?
So is it what kind of alcohol? Is it the
It's
expensive
just
one or just the
alcohol.
normal? Well, I can't
It's,
say
it-
because I don't drink alcohol, sha, but
it's Steve that drinks
Same
alcohol.
here.
Yes, Steve, come and explain. You are crazy.
I'm a home drinker though.
But what's this whole thing about obsession with
I think
alcohol?
it's poverty.
I'm trying to understand it.
I
You
think I
drank
think it's
alcohol,
like
the
yeah,
so
yeah,
I think
making
like
it a
very
big deal.
yeah very
to like
I think it's
very
poverty.
poor
alcohol. What?
places.
Like when they say
Explain.
it with so much excitement.
Yes,
Hmm.
it's irritating.
Hmm. It's something I might have done when I
You
was
go to the
like
club,
really
you're
younger,
posting
man.
pictures. Yeah, you're going to
Yeah,
the club and
alcohol.
you're posting pictures of alcohol you're drinking. It's
Yeah,
alcohol. What's the big deal?
yep.
I think I know what it is.
I feel it's alcohol. It's poverty. What do you think it is?
I think it's because they are buying it at an exorbitant rate. They need to then tell people
So is
that
it
they can afford to buy something at an exorbitant
Yeah,
rate.
yeah.
so is it alcohol in the club or just general people drinking alcohol?
Is both of them, but it leans more towards the people who buy alcohol in club.
So it is. in a country or in a society where there is no middle class, right? Whether it's rich or poor, you are living a binary life. It's either you're rich or you're poor. And like Steve said earlier, with this whole "I better pass my neighbor" thing, you want to show people you've gotten to the other side, right? And that's why we look at hip hop, right? When you make it big as a rapper, what do? You get a flashy car, you get a big chain to show that, oh, me too, I don't do that side. So with Nigeria, we have these things that we do that are like indications or indicators of more I've gotten to that other end, that 1% or that 10%. And if you see me in the club buying that kind of expensive drink, then that means I must be on that other side. But the thing is that the person that's even buying it might not be rich. He's making a very stupid financial decision. But you just want to appear that, oh yeah, I'm not part of the Joneses. I'm not the regular guys that just buy alcohol off the street. I'm going to the club enjoying the good life. So that's it.
That's why you are telling everybody on Monday morning, we clear like 4 Azul, na
No,
like 6 James Black bottle of this. Like, what's the big deal?
it's the big deal, man. It's the
Drunk
vanity
alcohol.
metrics.
Sorry, no vex. We'll put out a circular
Yeah, we'll stop.
educating
Now,
every
Steve,
young person.
it's Steve and his people when they go to Obi's house and they start taking photos and
You dey craze. Have you ever
videos.
seen me put up any photo?
Well,
If I didn't
I
tell you
don't
that
know
I
your
was there,
burner. I don't know your
I'm
burner
paid
yet.
for
If
it.
I see your burner,
I'm
you
paid
dey
for it.
craze. You can't even you can't even
Paid-
take my picture when we're outside. Like it's like it's forbidden. You can't even take my picture anyway. If you do it, I'll arrest you. Let alone you
Ah,
take me a picture with alcohol, bottle of alcohol around, bro. I'll
God
cost your
help you
life.
that we go out and I do and come and arrest me when I take your picture. Come
All
and
right,
arrest me.
just watch.
What's cost it now? Waiting your mouth will do cost. I'll
now
take
go dey
picture
Insta
now.
blog. You now fight. Now go just dey Insta blog. I mean, I go like. I will comment.
And I'm
I'll
thinking about
post
it.
it.
I'm talking
Wow.
about. I'm thinking about Insta blogs caption
Turning
because
up.
that guy is crazy with his caption. He's crazy with caption. Eh.
No, that caption game. That caption
There's
game
one
too
I
mad,
saw.
fam.
There's one I saw recently. I can't remember again. Oh god.
The one I saw was,
I think it
uh,
was some. No. Rema. He said
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Rema
Rema defeat,
beats white
Rema
money,
defeat
defeats
White
white
Money
money,
and this
Comfortable,
other
and
guy.
the likes
Yeah,
to win
to win
personal
MTV.
profit award at
I want bad.
MBNs.
Just the White Money and
I
Co
said
just
this
see
guy go
the
include white money. Oh man.
Speaking about
What's up?
white money.
Mm.
Speaking about white money.
yeah,
Who watched that video of the Big Brother housemates
bro. I
answering
don't.
those
You know me,
trivia
man.
questions?
Which one?
If it is
The one that
First,
got all the questions wrong,
yeah. First
all
of
the
Osage,
all,
answers wrong. Yeah, I
Osage,
watched it.
first of all,
if it is not Venita twerking, I'm not bothered about Big Brother. I
But
don't
is still
go.
twerking. She not like 50.
come on, don't do that.
Come
Eh?
on, hey,
How did
hey,
how did
hey,
Why would she be
hey.
twerking? Why would Wendy be twerking at this? Still be twerking? Twerking for what? For who?
Why can't just go? Why should not go? Why should not go the twerk? What's your problem?
I think
First of
okay.
all,
Is twerking not
I
a
want
Gen
to
Z thing or a millennial thing? It's a
Um,
Gen Z thing, not a
I'll be
millennial.
I'll put it to you that when the first slave people came to Africa, they saw us twerking. They saw our women twerking. I hope you know.
For real?
Yes,
Wow,
go and watch Kota Kinte again. You know watch that part of
that's
Kota Kinte. You did Kota
that's
Kinte. You
insightful.
just watch that.
That's very insightful.
Thank you very
it's not
much.
the name of the show is actually Roots, Ayo. Please.
Oh, Osagie, I'm Nigerian. The name of the show is Kota Kinte. Ah, oh
The
God, leave me alone.
name of the show is actually called Roots.
Oh,
I read
okay. Go outside and
that.
tell people, have you watched Roots? They'll be like, what the fuck is that? Say, have you watched Kota Kinte?
Toby.
Yeah.
Anyways, I watched the trivia clip of the Big Brother house, and I compared it to the trivia we do on this podcast.
We're smarter than
It's
those
not
people. I beg you, name of God. We're smarter than people. I have like seven. Steve has like five. I beg.
Steve has
We're
like
smarter than
two.
those people.
Steve has answered like two questions, sports related only.
Osage, if you ask the Big Brother housemates the questions that you ask us, there's no just maybe they go out. There's no point.
No, of course, of course, of
Yeah.
course, of course. Um, I wasn't shocked that they couldn't answer any of those questions.
No, I'm not shocked.
To
No.
be honest,
Yeah.
Oh, I think the one that shocked me is when you guys corrected me about CC. You know, when they say what arm of the government
Mm,
is in charge of creating law,
yeah.
and she
Is,
gets
is
it
that,
right. I
you,
think she
you know
said
that
the
one shock
judiciary.
you. Like we say you try. The one that shock me now, 7 divided by 0.
No, I think that was just for clouds. There's no way you can be that
What are you
stupid.
saying?
Who was that? Who was that person that didn't get it right?
I can't remember. I can't remember. But that
No,
was
that's
that was the
seven.
funniest. That was the funniest to me.
Mm,
The person says 7. I'm sorry to laugh at these
Because
things. That's
logically it
not.
does not even make sense. Because
Yeah,
sometimes then you before you answer, just ask yourself, okay, 7 people divide 0 thing. How many what would they get? It's
Steve,
just a
you
simple,
went.
it's a logical,
Steve,
like I don't understand, bro.
Steve, I put
That one
Steve.
confused me.
I put it to you that you went to a very good primary school where they taught you the basics of division and word maths and logic,
arithmetic.
arithmetic. Some people.
But the person said 7. I almost cried. But it's
I
not a it's not surprise. It's normal. It's normal. It's normal level. Not everybody
the-
will know.
First of all, the level of education in this country is poor. Like illiteracy, the
Yeah,
literacy level is
I
high.
think when you laugh when you mock people for that, I think you're not giving yourself enough credit for being as versatile as you are. And
Yeah,
guys, don't forget, you guys we worked in the media now where we had access
exactly.
to so much information.
you can't be
So
stupid in the media. You can't just be
yeah,
afford to be stupid.
I thought about it. I laughed at first. I thought about it again. I was like, you know what, bro, it's cool. Everybody, do you everybody?
Do you, boo
Um,
boo?
I've, I've learned to understand that nobody's stupid. Everybody is very intelligent in their own way. There's something Sissy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Exactly.
Sissy
it's,
is way smarter than me in
that
some
is why
aspects
she's
of
in the house, and she's likely to
exactly in some
win.
aspects of life and stuff like
Exactly.
that. So yeah,
I
give everyone
like
their
the angle.
credits. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, I like the angle in which you're coming from
yeah,
because they
yeah,
would also be great at some things.
yeah.
However, and that's what I was trying to say in the group when I said someone said, "Oh, check this out," and someone said, "Oh, CC said, oh, the arm of the
This
government
the
that creates
judicial.
law is the judiciary," and I was like, I don't expect her to know it. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is a
that
young
says
girl
she's a
who
lawyer.
is.
But have they
That's that.
I still
That's
can't believe. Oh.
no. That's what broke my. That's what just broke everything
Yeah, I
for
can't be.
me.
I don't
You know,
believe.
I think it was like 2 or 3 people that said, "Osags, she studied law. What the fuck are you saying, Osags?"
maybe she studied law with Layi Wasabi. Maybe in that same class the two of them go. So the law not
Yeah,
to jail like that.
but let me tell you for a fact, right? Some of those questions, I wasn't really bothered about the mathematical or arithmetic questions. I was more
Mm.
concerned with the questions that have to do with like civic education, or like civic and history.
Yeah,
Those are the questions I was more interested in because those are the kind
But
of questions we ask on the loose structure here, right? And I'm not going to blame them because if I'm going to blame them, then I'm going to blame millions of Nigerians who also don't know those answers. I've been with people who have graduates of private universities who think Alfred Koko was once a president of this country.
shout out to
yeah,
them.
Like it's stuff like that. So and this is a not to put it on the citizens, not to put it on the people, but where are they expected to learn about these things
Yeah,
when you
one
take history out of the syllabus for close to 2 decades? Where do you think they were going to learn about it?
yeah,
Nowhere.
and
There is a strong,
Afani Kuku
and
was
we've talked
okay.
about
Education
the
it was
whole NOI
education.
thing here. We've talked about this whole thing, National
yeah,
Education Agency, rather, and all this. But where do people really want to learn about their country? Where can you go to
mm-hmm.
now?
Listen once again. I think let
Yes.
me tell you something. The thing about learning is interest, right? These things are boring. These things don't really interest a lot, especially in this age of like social media, smartphones, the internet. On a reason why we 90s babies, right? Why we know these things is just because we didn't have any option. We had to look at the map, we had to look at the atlas. Like we had to like listen
Yeah,
to radio, TV. There was no like much distraction. Now I understand like now there's so many distractions. And it's just interest really. Even some things that I wasn't taught, like I wasn't taught, I was not taught in school. I just go and Google them, just go on Wikipedia, read about them. It's just interest. I think it's not a matter of intelligence for me. It's just a matter of interest. That's why I really don't blame those people. Yeah.
also. Also, why do they need it? Like in the Nigeria of today, that knowledge is not. Where do they want to? You don't need that knowledge to blow or to make it in this thing. Look at them, Danny House, where they can make 120 million. No, they don't give a fuck about what is judiciary or legislative or what's the executive. Waiting concern them. You don't need it. Nigeria is structured in a way that you don't need that kind of knowledge to excel, but you need wuru wuru to the answer. That is the way we are in Nigeria of today. Is wuru wuru to the answer, not school knowledge, and that's why a 7 year old or 5 year old went viral how many years ago saying that he wants to do Yahoo, he doesn't want to go to school. Simple.
Bro, that reminds me. I watched the video of cute Abiola navigating through Ikorodu, right, trying to get back to the island,
He was brave, man.
and I was watching while I was watching that video. I just remembered Tunde Onokoya. Shout out to him,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
explaining that there are young people here that we should start trying to train so they can escape a life of poverty, and then people saying no they shouldn't because they are already, their souls are lost.
Crazy.
Like, I hope some people were able to watch that video and understand that that part of Lagos you saw is part of Lagos.
No, that is the Lagos now. That is part of Lagos they don't show you. They don't want to show you. So they show you the sexy places, but they don't show you that part.
You get? And somebody came and said there are young adolescents here who we should start trying to train. And then some people said no, that their souls are already lost
Yeah,
and they can burn in hell.
Because
yep.
now them be Jesus, Abi.
That's so no. I'm gonna say God not be man, sha.
Thank God.
Because
Say man no be God. Oh.
yep.
All right.
What next
Rest
on
in
the
peace,
docket?
Mohbad.
According to I immediate tire too.
What next on the docket? We can't go to Dubai yet.
Why?
Because the initial report that was released by the spokesperson to the president is false.
Yeah, he came out to say
Can't go to
that
Nigeria.
that
Yeah.
Nigerians cannot fly to Dubai one time.
And people said singing and dancing.
I danced. I didn't dance. I just swore for Buhari again to say, you know what, Mr. Man, you will crumble.
At least, at least Tinubu flew to Dubai. Buhari
bro,
wasn't
at
fucking
least he's
bothered.
in action.
Buhari
Buhari
wasn't
is,
fucking bothered.
I think Buhari will be thinking, what are they going to Dubai to do? Can't they just sit down at home and farm, go to farm or something?
Yeah. What are they looking for in Dubai? They should go and
What are
farm.
they looking for in Dubai? You know, Buhari talks about
actually said,
Nigerians like we are spoilt,
Buhari talks about Nigerians like it's the
like we are,
70s.
yeah, like we are spoilt, like. Oh God!
Buhari said, you people go and farm.
Go and
Go
farm.
All
farm.
of you.
What are you doing on the
Pick up the
internet?
tools.
Go and
What are you
farm.
trying to learn? Why are you trying to learn Java?
I wonder what
Learn-
Buhari would think about working from home. Gosh,
Oh, God have mercy. It's too advanced for him.
He'll be
Make him brain.
appalled. He'll be appalled.
No, 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 no.
You'll genuinely be irritated.
You retain.
So we can't travel to Dubai.
Yet.
So, yet we can't travel to the UAE.
Yes.
So there's no the visa restrictions have not been lifted.
Ayo, please give us context to it, just in
So
case
you basically said what it is, but they've started talks already. So it's obviously not the president to the president that's talking right now. So the ministers and the key officials have started talking, and obviously along the line the visa restriction be lifted. But it's not something immediate. It's not something that's going to happen like that. That was initially reported. I think it was the president's spokesperson that jumped the gun. I think he was just trigger happy. He wanted to just win. He wanted his first W, and he got his first L. Yeah, so that's it. At the end of the day, I know a lot of Nigerians want to go to Dubai because that is seen as, how Nigerians, we always look at one particular country and decide to descend on it because it gives us that life, that kind of aesthetic. Let me speak like Gen Z. And Dubai UAE has been the place for like a decade plus right now. I'm not going to Dubai has fucked up some people's bags.
It's a tourist destination.
Yes, a tourist destination globally anyway. And it has fucked up some people's bags. There were cases of Nigerians not, behaving properly in Dubai on both genders. I'll leave that, to your interpretation. where everybody who knows what I'm trying to say,
Ayo, you are a criminal. This is mad.
bro, both genders they've shown that they're not great ambassadors of this country. And Dubai,
With so
shout
to
out
say,
to Dubai.
dirty behavior.
Shout out to
Dirty
Dubai.
behavior. Can I say that?
Yeah,
Can I
dirty
say
behavior,
that?
yes.
Dirty behavior.
Dubai is not saying you should not be corrupt, though. Dubai is not, because Hush Puppy was living in Dubai. It was when he was going to steal money from Americans. That's when the problem started. But when he
Ayo,
starts behaving in a
Ayo,
very jerky, fuck you,
Ayo,
yes,
Ayo. Can I say shitty behavior?
say it now. You're allowed to.
Shitty behavior.
It was shitty. Yeah. But when you start coming out and cause violent episodes, or the sex work is over, is alarming, then bro, y'all gotta chill for a second, fam. At the end of the day, this is a Muslim country. You guys don't know. In case you guys don't know, this is still a Muslim country. So yeah, that's why we are
Oh
on the
my
bad
god.
books of our of UAE,
It's,
Dubai UAE.
it's just so sad that no Nigerian government can still be trusted. Like, that was really embarrassing because it
That's
wasn't
another
even something anyone was clamoring or like begging for. It wasn't even a conversation.
Steve, guess
You were
what?
not like
They
Tinubu
announced
was not
that
even.
Tinubu was going to UAE. Announced when he was
Bro,
there.
that's what I'm
God.
saying. Like, you're not even under any sort of pressure to deliver this as a president. So even coming out to say that you made a stop in Dubai during a foreign trip to discuss ways that they can allow Nigerians back into the country, that was going to be enough. Like, it was a move that would have been applauded
Yeah,
because even the ban wasn't even the making of this present government. So why did you just have to like go and lie and disgrace yourself?
they go own the
Like,
L.
it just makes no sense. It's just shameful. Joe, just for the fact that you made a stop there during a foreign trip to even discuss this thing, it shows that you even have concern. Like, you even know what this means to
You're working.
Nigerians. Like, it makes sense. Like, that was just enough. That was something that was very really commendable. It's just shameful. That's just all I have to say. It's shameful.
I do think they would
Of
lift the
course.
ban very soon.
Exactly. That's what will happen. But just give us the information. Just say, oh, that's what part of the thing we're discussing. We're still in constant communication on how this thing is going to happen. But this is our wish, is that, in short, that's why I made the trip, to
Yeah,
make sure that we
to
have
initiate
this
a
conversation.
process. To initiate the
Period.
process. Finish.
So everybody's piling on Ajuri, right? But we don't know the background information.
Maybe that's what
There
they
might
told him
have
to
been
say. Yeah.
there might have been a miscommunication. To be honest,
Yeah,
Probably.
yeah. It's
I
true.
don't
But at that level,
believe,
it's shameful.
I don't believe Ajuri just woke up and said,
No, no, no.
"What what's going on?" And
Ajuri,
let me just
Ajuri,
lie
they
to you
lie. No
people.
worry, no worry, Osagie. Ajuri can wake up and
No,
cook that thing. Forget.
no,
Abakuka.
Forget that.
I,
Forget that
I
lie.
find it hard to believe.
Abakuka.
I find it
What?
hard to believe.
All right.
No, there's a difference between when he was working, as one of the
Osagie.
Steve, you know one year me.
Still
Make I
don't
talk
want to
now.
go as they go.
Make I talk. I think it would be incredibly ridiculous for a jury not to have any confirmation, right, that the ban has been lifted, right, and then go and tell people publicly that the ban has been lifted. There might have been a clear miscommunication that was passed on to him. At the end of the day, he's a spokesperson. He doesn't have the authority to go and say something that has not happened now. It's a fireable offense now.
Yeah, that one is true, sure.
Do you understand? Especially something that can be confirmed from the other partner. Because I'm sure that's what happened. When they saw the release and people put out the press release, people probably reached out to them for comments
Yeah,
and they said, no, it hasn't happened. Do you understand?
yeah.
So I find it hard that a jury would go ahead, even though he was not told in any way that, oh, the ban has been lifted. I'm sure the communication came to him and he was like, oh, okay, let me do my work. I'm the comms person at the end of the day. You know, that's what I believe. So, but he takes the heat. He will take the heat. He's
Yeah,
the
that's
rest of
why
the
it's
times to
paid
tell
now.
him,
You take the hit.
that's what me I feel genuinely, genuinely. So, guys, your Dubai destination, Dubai, it's not happening anytime soon.
Damn.
Ayo,
Yeah.
you wanted to go to Dubai now.
I want to go to Dubai.
You are getting flued out.
I wish. One Hajia
I haven't
with
got the
an
visa
oil
the
well.
last time, but trip was cancelled before the whole ban. Oh. I wasn't even
Okay.
keen.
Wh-
Ta.
What are you going to Dubai to do?
I was getting flew out.
No shit.
By who?
One Hajia.
No day.
Hajia with oil well.
Who are you
By
getting
clients.
fooled up by?
You see,
Okay. Which
Mm.
client is this? Can you tell us which industry?
Agriculture.
on the
Well,
harvesting now.
you
On
never
the
see anything.
harvesting.
This guy, he just the rigmarole me. He just the he just they play like paqueta.
uh,
Hmm.
They make me
Which
they dance for
which agriculture they do by don't they deceive yourself.
no, they there. You don't know what's going on. You don't know.
you don't know.
You
You
don't
You
don't
know.
don't
know.
know.
Alright, let's move into the next thing on the docket. Odumodu Black Controversy.
Yeah.
See, Ayo, do you want to give us some backstory real quick?
Okay.
Just short one.
Everybody knows Odumodu Black. One of the
Not
top.
everybody knows Odumodu Black
Okay,
though,
Odumodu
please.
Black is one of the top rappers in Nigeria 2023. He released the very viral hit single Declan Rice, which was used by Arsenal to unveil Declan Rice again. He was meant so Odumodu Black was meant to bring out his mixtape like 2 weeks ago, but it was held back for some unknown reasons. So he decided to drop a single called MC Oluomo. Now, everybody knows who MC Oluomo is, or most Nigerians should know who MC Oluomo is. He's notorious within the political circles, especially in Lagos. He's the head of the NURTW, I believe. Yeah. And since the election, he has not, or before the election, I think from 2020, 2019, 2018, when Ambode was kicked out of office, MC Oluomo has not been seen in the best of lights, especially among Twitter using Nigerians or Lagosians. And he's seen as one of the key figures in the reason why Lagos is where it is today, why it's under a certain monopoly, from a particular cabal. And now that Odumodu Black released a song called MC Olomo, people believe he's tone deaf. Now, why is he naming a track after somebody so controversial? And we all saw videos of him during the election period of, him allegedly intimidating voters, especially voters from the south, is that they should not vote. They should not come out and vote. And we all know how polarizing the last election was, between Peter Obi, Atiku, and eventually our new president, President Tinubu. So to say the least, or to say the most, MC Oluomo is not the most loved person among Lagosians and even Nigerians by extension. And here comes a rapper that has been on a good wave, on a good run, and he now decides to name his track MC Olomo. He doesn't reference him directly on the track, but the name of the song is called Osagie Olomo, and there's a lyric, behind that as well. And it's divided opinion on Twitter. Some said, oh, it was wrong for him to do that, and some just say, at the end of the day, it's just fucking music. You can't censor art. So that's where we are here. Odumodu Black MC Olomo.
Thank you for that breakdown, Ayo. I
Yeah,
love your breakdowns.
thank you.
Thank you so much. So, why is there controversy? You've explained that. I
Yeah.
don't see why there's controversy. And I've exhausted my
But
energy
you guys killed us on the group chat
arguing,
too. You and Steve.
arguing with Steve and
Samson.
Samson. So it was Steve and Samson versus me and Ephraim, right? And I've exhausted my energy. All I want to say is that you need to give artists um creative license to do whatever they want to do,
Yeah.
right? And they have any right to be able to create the kind of art they want to create. I don't think you should put a lid on it. We don't put a lid on it when it comes to the movie industry. I don't see why you should put a lid on it when it comes to the music industry, right? This this what Odumodu has done with this track is not new.
At all.
There's nothing new compared to what has happened in hip hop for ages. You can start with some of the most iconic hip hop artists creating a pseudo persona or a character associated with their brand. Nas, Escobar, Nori, Noriega, Capone, Capone, right? And the list goes on.
Even
Um,
Recross.
um, Recross, Recross, Freeway Recross,
Yeah.
right? The guy who the whole
Was built
snowfall shoes,
around.
yeah. Notorious B.I.G. calls himself the Black Frank
The
White,
Black Frank White.
right? Griselda, Griselda is named after they call her the cocaine godmother.
Yeah.
Netflix is just doing a show on her, right? Blanco, there are so many people that have been named after notorious people, right? And created that personality and that persona or created music. For crying out loud, everybody sang, I think I'm Big Mitch, Larry
Larry
Hoover. Who do you
Hoover.
think these people were? Go and Google, do your Googles. Who do
Yeah,
you think
gotta see who Big
Rich?
Mitch and Larry Hoover were.
Do you understand? Who do you think Rich Potter is?
Yeah.
We all celebrate watching, what's the name of the movie Cameron and Mikai Pfeiffer were in?
Paid in full.
Uh, we all celebrated watching Paid in Full.
But
We
that's
all
a true life
watched it.
story. That's a true life story.
Yes. So are you telling me if they do a true life story of Elusiolo Omona, you go and attack the Nollywood filmmaker? Reality is reality. Do not circle out an artist who has created something, curating what reality is. Get mad at the reality.
That's
Don't
all.
get mad at
Simple.
the art.
Get mad at what your reality.
The artist has creative license to do what they want to do. See, guys, let's keep it a buck. We all sang and danced to Yahuze. That's a song glorifying and celebrating internet fraud
Bro, Yahoo's is
years
even too
ago.
far. We have recent songs.
You know, when someone says all these Elon Musk boys and everybody's dancing to it, and you don't get mad at that, then you get mad at the guy because he sang a song and named it after somebody that is in people's bad books. Come on. You have to give this guy credit. You can't, it's either, see, if you want to do what you are doing to Odumodu Black, then let's do a hard stop and let's stop it. But right now, Charlie Poppy's song called Ex Convict is is currently charting
The jam fam.
because you guys are listening to it and you guys are enjoying it. And you're playing it in the club tonight as we're recording, and people are turning up to it. So let's keep it a buck. If we want to do a hard stop and then become a country that is focused on morals and values, which we've obviously lost, that's fine. And then we do a hard stop. And then the radio stations don't play this record and nobody acknowledges it. But if you're not going to do that, and then you want to single out one person because you think it's an easy target to get to, then I'm calling BS on it. That's what I have to say. Steve,
Mr. Sudede.
Okay, you done.
I'm done. Thank you.
So you are still continuing this mistake of
Please put your lips on the mic.
you are still continuing this mistake of making this thing about crime, people committed crime or not. La Ruva or whoever you just mentioned is not. Let me go back. Right, Nigerians as a people, we have a lot of tolerance for crime and criminals. Like we've discussed this thing several times on this podcast. Nigerians know his criminals, and it reflects in the kind of people we idolize and we make our leaders. Nigerians is just we just hate poor people. So as far as you have money, Nigerians will love you. But amidst this level of tolerance, right? There's nothing as divisive as politics, tribe, and religion. This aspect of human identity, it's so like it's so emotional, and it leads to like positive and negative consequences, right? Religion, for example, we know historically, we know that it has played it has led to like it has been a source of conflict and division and violence. We know for religion. For politics, we know how polarizing it is. Even during our last elections, where individuals or groups with like different political views have become like really hostile. Not just in Nigeria, from the last election cycle in Nigeria to even Brexit to even Trump 2019 elections. Tribe, we all know tribe is. That is the issue with this MC Olomo thing. MC Olomo is not hated just because he's an alleged thug or gangster. No, he's a figure that was very divisive during the last election. This man supported a candidate that, I have to be very honest, was not really very popular among young people. He also played a huge role in the alleged intimidation of voters, alleged violence on certain tribes during the election, right? This is how it became a hot topic. Like this is what made this issue very different from dancing. People were dancing to Yahooze or dancing to Sholi Poppy. So saying that this outrage over this M. Solomon song is hypocritical It does not make sense because the outrage isn't even out of morality. You understand me? The outrage is because of how personal people took this man's action during the last election. It's not the same as Nigerians dancing to songs about internet crime and criminals. It's very different. So this is the counter to the argument. I was not arguing with you um the artist and artist freedom of license to create about any subject they want to create. Every artist in the world, they have that license. Guess who also have the license to react to the music anyhow they want to react to it? The fans, the people who are streaming the song, the people who they are creating this music for. You get. So yeah, that's I have one I have that point against your argument. But for the whole creative license, nobody is saying you can't sing about anything, but people can also react to whatever you are doing as an artist. That's what you've opened your life to. That's how you open your art to. That's why you're an artist. Because people can critique your record and your songs and your art. So yeah, that's just my own opinion about the whole outrage over this MC Olomo thing. This same also Olomo that Tennis sang about, and people were not all that heated. There was a couple of side talks on Twitter, but at that time he wasn't this figure that he was right now. Then there was a lot of maybe myth around him. People just know what he did, or especially from that Solu and Ambody election, right? But during this election, he was really, really popular. Even from NSAS to the election. So that's what has contributed to this outrage. Yeah, it's not immoral. It's not a question about morality. Nobody cares about what Nigerians just have money. Nigerians will like you. Nobody cares. Yeah, that's just my own take.
Thank you very much, Mr. Steve Dede. Ayo, do you have any take or you've
Nah,
already?
you guys have said it already, bro. I don't have any other take.
Okay, thank you very much. Um, I wanted to talk about the educational system in Nigeria. I saw this tweet from um El Divine on Twitter, and he said, both my wife and a few friends who are doing their masters in the US very quickly realize what I try to tell people about how we learn in Nigeria. We do rote learning and fact speaking and too much academic knowledge. American education prioritizes critical thinking and insights, and a whole lot of challenging assumptions and perspectives. It's how people learn to think. It forces you to understand both your subject matter and the nuances around it, which improves your effectiveness. 100% agree with what he's saying. What do you guys, what are your thoughts on that, guys?
Oh yeah, Nigeria's educational system is just to pass and not to understand. Not to understand what you're reading or the course subjects, and that's why a lot of us in university, after writing our exams, the moment you step out of the exam hall, it's done. You don't know anything again about that thing because it's more or less for you to pass or fail. And I remember when an American lecturer came, that was the first time we really understood what was being taught to us because he told us that look, the way they're teaching you guys is wrong, and the way they even mark our exams is totally wrong. So the guy really broke down courses for us. We didn't really have to cram anything. We just understood the core concept of what was being told and we applied it. So even in his own tests, there were more of applications. How do you apply this instead of the rigid questions our lecturers would give to us? And I think that was the best, lecturer. He was a professor. He's dead now. He was a librarian, American librarian, and yeah, our system here is just churning out people who are best at reading and cramming, and not people who really understand anything. And when you do that, you don't really bring out. That's why our graduates are half baked. Nigerian graduates are half baked at the end of the day because you use all these many years, and when you come out, into the labor market, it's like you don't know jack.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you don't have you've never applied it.
Yeah, you don't have the mental
When you're
capacity to
thinking
take this
about
over.
it, yeah, you're not applying what has been taught to you in real life scenarios. What you're doing is just regurgitating everything that has been taught to you, and you're more like cramming it and ensuring you don't forget so you can deliver the same thing on paper. And yeah, it's I don't know how we got here, but of course it affected me, schooling. I'm sure it a lot of people who schooled in Nigeria, and yeah, I please people who have gone to school, abroad, the UK, US, or anywhere in Europe, whatever. Please write to us and let us know your experience being a student. Probably, I like people who have who actually did their BSc in Nigeria and then gone on to do their masters or MSc or MBA, in a foreign country. Please write to us and tell us what your experience is and how you've been able to navigate. I mean, first of all, the culture shock in terms of education and learning, and then how you've been able to navigate it. I also saw this video one jobless boy put up back in August, right? It was a clip of a gentleman who visited Your View, rather, the TVC show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's a very interesting clip. So I want to play it right now for you guys.
Who told you that you must go to school? Where did you get the idea from? Who ingrained that thinking into you? A child is not supposed to go to school until the child is 4 years old. Because we destroyed the public education, a generation of private school owners came and started coming up with products to take money from our pocket and program us into the bondage of education. So they start talking of preschool, kindergarten, all kinds of names for the first 4 years where nothing. And many people now, that's what you are spending money on. So your husband is earning 250. You are earning 80,000 or 100,000. So the total money coming to your family is 350. The school fees you are paying is 200. Where's the wisdom? Can't somebody stay at home and say, look, you know what? For the first 4 years of my child's life, I'm going to stay. I'm going to homeschool this child. My husband, you'll be working. I will stay at home. Many women that are working today, they are not supposed to be working. It has nothing to do with family. It's about my family. What's our family value? This is the formative stage of this student. Stay at home because what you are going to earn is not even anything. You are going to earn 100. So if you are earning something big, they might say, okay, maybe the man will be the one to stay at home. Because we see this happening all over. So we should diffuse ourselves.
You say that again, sir. Because your voice was very loud when you were saying the women can stay at home. If the woman is earning more,
the man should stay at home. It's happening everywhere. It is for your family. The man will now stay at home. You homeschool these people. Because one of the things that has affected us is because we have this mindset of full-time housewife. There's nothing like that anymore in 21st century. Because everybody, full-time housewife. Because everybody can work from home now. So from home, you can be a millionaire from your home. There are many things you can do from home. So there is nothing like, I don't want to be a full-time housewife. You can be a stay-at-home mom and run things from home and take care of the formative stage of your children. When it's now time for them to go to school, the most important education is primary and secondary. Case closed. Anything after secondary school, you are fooling yourself. Majority of the university today, they are all just wasting their life away. Because many of the courses you are studying is useless. The world.
What are your thoughts, guys?
Oh, now wow. I agree with what you said at the tail end, where the important part is primary and secondary. Whether we want to believe it or not, not everybody needs to go to university. Some you might go to a technical school, some you
Yeah.
might just learn a trade, and it's fine. As long as you're literate and you can function basically, then it's fine. Not everybody has to go to university, but in Nigeria, we believe that if you don't go to university, it almost seems like you're illiterate. It's even bad if you even go to polytechnic and you only have one degree, OND. It's like you're half baked and everything. The beginning part, I'm not too sure. I don't really agree with that one at all. I don't really agree with that one at all, at all, at all. Because in Nigeria, a lot of families need the husband and the wife to go to work. That is just a reality. That's an economic reality for a lot of Nigerians. So you understand what he should be talking about is the quality of education even got from these places like his nursery and all those ones. I think we should harp on the quality of education and not allow any Tom, Dick, and Harry to just build schools because they have the money and not say bring your child and nothing really happens to your child. Your child doesn't have any, how will I put it, doesn't have knowledgeable, your child doesn't do anything basically. So I don't agree with that first part, but the other part you said towards the end, I agree with that one.
Okay, so I actually agree. I align with him in the first part where he said, "I don't see why your child should be going to school at 2 years old, 1 year old, 2 year old, 3 year old, 4 year old. Maybe by four, the child should start school."
Yeah.
And this is coming from me, who by one, my kid was already going to school.
Yeah.
Do you understand? By one. But then I'm starting to see in other countries, right, that they don't allow their kids to start school until they're 4. So really, why are kids going to school at 1? And I like how he broke it down and said it was the private schools that started to convince parents that their kids should be coming to school before the age of 4. Because I don't think public schools allowed it, did they? They didn't now.
I'm not sure if
You
there's
had to
even a
be a
public.
certain age,
I don't think I've even seen a public nursery school before. I'm not sure.
you had to be of a certain age before you were able to come to school. So I also understand that this was also birthed from the fact that both parents had to work. And with both parents working, where you going to put your kid, right? You didn't want to put your kid at home with the house help. You were scared the house help wouldn't take care of your kid well, or your mom was not maybe living in that region or whatever. And so there was now a necessity because everything is business, everything in business is opportunity, right?
Yeah.
There was now that necessity for a crash, and
Mm-hmm.
then probably crashes, and then the primary schools now figured out, oh, why don't we open a crash and compete with these crashes, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then we can put them in the pipeline. Well, where we have right now is that 1 year olds, 1.5 year olds, 2 year olds who shouldn't be going to school are actually going to school, and they don't do anything there. They put on TV for them, private schools, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they just take care of them and clean their diapers and
Yeah.
whatever.
I think, yeah, because I think the Nigerian educational system also accelerates the way children enter primary school and leave primary school. I remember um I did primary six, and that's because my parents insisted I would do primary six, we do the whole 6 years. But
My mom too.
I knew people from primary four that didn't come entrance and they were going to straight up secondary school. And when they get to secondary school, by SS1, they do their YX, YXF. And at 15 or 16, they're not in university. And
You
I'm
know
like,
what has happened now?
that's
Do you know
crazy.
there are more younger people in like there are more younger people in schools and in classes that there were in our set.
Yeah.
In our set, there were more older people.
Yeah, you saw
Even
older
in
people, yeah.
secondary school, there were older people. Then in uni, they were in their 20s. Now, people in their unis are 15. People are finishing uni at 18.
Yeah.
In our set, people are finishing uni at 24.
Yeah. But see, I understand if an 18-year-old is in university, if it's exceptional, like if you're a genius, so they have to fast track you. But if you are clearly just an average student, that I don't see why you should be in university by 15 or 16 for kind of loud.
Bro, people they finish uni at 19.
Yeah. And I'm like, you are not exceptional, you're not a genius, your IQ is not that high. So what it's because our education system doesn't have structure. Where your 6 years
And
must
I
be
feel
6 years. Your 3 years in junior high
yeah,
school, junior secondary school must be 3 years, and senior secondary school must be 3 years.
And I feel it's this whole crash thing and all that getting in school early that has kind of accelerated them and pushed them through the pipeline faster.
Also, schools want to always show that, we have a higher standard of teaching. So by SS1, SS2, our students are ready, which is a bloody lie. Most of these private schools don't have any high standard of nothing. It's only high school fees they have. They don't have any high standard nothing.
Yeah, just wanted to share that.
Yeah.
And guys, I want you to also write and tell us what you think about that. That was just an interesting topic, and I've had that on the docket for a minute. Where is Steve? Steve, are you sleeping?
Steve is where he is.
Steve, don't sleep.
Now,
Damn.
wow.
No, sorry, I was someone was whispering something to me, so I didn't want the person to come closer.
Who's whispering something to you at 9 minutes to midnight?
He's a married man, so please leave him. Let us whisper to
Can you
him.
put your lips on the mic? Is your lips somewhere else? Can you put it on the mic?
My this is on the mic.
Pause.
Who's whispering to you at 9 minutes to midnight?
Yeah, because they're still asking me what I'm doing here now. I thought I was recording.
Okay,
Yeah.
We're almost done.
Yeah,
We're done. As a matter of fact, we're actually done. This is 2 hours. We've recorded for 2 hours. We're done.
We're done. We don't try.
We're done.
We don't try.
We're done. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. It's a wrap.
Where did this energy come from?
For me, being done.
It's always been done like that now. I was just distracted. Don't mind me.
All right. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of your favorite podcast, Loose Talk.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
Yeah, we'll catch you on the next episode. Toodaloos.
Peace out.